Thank you, Brian. The battle over birth control ratcheting up a notch on Capitol Hill now. The Obama administration refusing to back down from its controversial new health care rule, which forces all employers to provide birth control to their workers, regardless of their religious beliefs. And Democratic Senator Barbara Boxer suggests women's rights should trump religious freedom. Listen to this.
It's medicine, and women deserve their medicine. And now, the Republican leaders of Congress at the highest levels want to take away their health care. Women in this country are tired of being treated like a political football by Republicans in Congress who have tried continually and are continuing to try to take away their benefits, to take away their rights.
Well, now two senators from opposite sides of the aisle are joining forces to prevent the mandate. Joining me now from D.C., Florida Senator Marco Rubio, Republican, and West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin, Democrat. Wow, fantastic. I'm seeing a Republican and a Democrat standing next to each other in the same shot. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
That's a new revelation in the world we've been living in the last couple of years. Let me start with you.
There's more of us than you think.
Okay. Well, since you piped up, let me start with you, Senator Manchin. Why go on board with Senator Rubio and introduce this bill to try and get rid of this mandate?
Well, first of all, it shouldn't be political. And next of all, I've tried everything possible. I was on a conference call December the 3rd talking to the White House, strongly opposing the direction I thought they were going, and asked them to consider it before they did it. Then they went ahead and invoked the rule, and I, on February the 3rd, wrote a letter to the president asking him to repeal it. I thought it was wrong and encroachment on religious freedom and Constitution, and that's really where it should be. So Marco and I, you know, there are more of us that are working together on common issues and what we think moves this country forward than just playing politics. And again, this is political.
So, Senator Rubio, is this a religious liberty issue, or is it, as Senator Boxer just described it, a medical issue for women?
Well, you know what it is. It's a constitutional issue. It's very simple. And it is a very straightforward concept. This is not about contraception. It's not about medicine. It's about constitutional rights. And here's the question. Should the federal government have the power to go in and tell a religion that it has to pay for something that the religion teaches is wrong? It's a very simple question, and I think the answer to that is no. And I think that's what the Constitution says. So this should never have happened. The president should have followed the advice of Vice President Biden and his outgoing chief of staff, Bill Daley, who told him not to do this, and he went forward with it. And now, you know, I saw the clip you played. It's not Republican leadership that's outraged by this. It's the Catholic Conference of Bishops that are outraged by this, some of whom supported Obamacare when it first passed.
Right. Senator Manchin, I heard your phone ringing when Senator Rubio was talking. Was that the White House?
I think it was a bishop.
All right. Well, now let me get back to this with you, Senator Manchin, because you did approve Obamacare, and I remember I think you struggled with that decision.
So, well, I never voted. I wasn't here when it happened.
But I think you were in favor of it, and so now do you wish you hadn't been in favor of it because of this?
No, you know, there's some things in the health care we have now, Affordable Health Care Act, that basically, when you look at the donut hole filled for the seniors and taking care of our children, there's some good things in there that I think both Democrats and Republicans can agree on. Well, I'm just hoping that we can work on keep some of the good things and get rid of the bad, the 1099, the mandates. There's things that need to be done and taken care of. But that's where we have been on. That's where I have been on it. Now, I would have worked a lot differently than what they worked with the piece of legislation we have. Let me say this, Gretchen, if I would. When I was governor of the state of West Virginia, we signed a piece of legislation. We're one of the 28 states that say we will have basically offering this contraception, except if you have religious convictions, then you get an exemption. That's all we've asked for.
Right.
A common sense approach is what we're asking this administration to take, the same as we did in West Virginia.
And they are giving Catholic churches that exemption, but not larger Catholic entities like hospitals and charities and colleges, etc. I want to move on to this next poll. Senator Rubio, I'm interested in your thoughts, both of you, quite frankly. Your approval ratings are going down, I hate to tell you. Congressional approval hits an all-time low now. Only 10% of the American public approve of the job that you're doing. 86% disapprove. And now we have a fire alarm in the studio. I think everyone's upset with the results of these polls. Will that go up now since they see a Republican and a Democrat standing next to each other?
Well,
Senator
first of all,
Rubio?
it's an interesting poll because I've never met anyone that approves of the job Congress is doing, so I don't know where you got the 10. But let me just say this. I understand why they're frustrated. Let me give you a perfect example, okay? Because look, I believe strongly in my principles I ran on, etc. But I found common ground on something called the AGREE Act with Senator Coons. It has basically a host of ideas that Republicans and Democrats agree on. I can't get a hearing on the bill. We can't get a vote on that thing. And there are other things like that that are out there. I saw Jerry Moran and Senator Mark Warner yesterday came up with their own idea for small business. There are some issues we're going to disagree about around here, and we're going to have an election about those in November. But let's at least work on the things we agree on.
Let me just say that the thing that you're seeing people being totally frustrated with here and watching what's going on, it's all about politics. It's not about policy. It's all about the next election, not about the next generation. I'm working with Dan Coates, a Republican from Indiana, on the Fair Compliance Act. So we're working together, trying. We're trying to.
I see the approval ratings going right up. Guys, thanks so much for your time this morning. Hats off to you on the working together part.